right, let's go to the phone lines. They're jumping tonight. We begin with Fred in North Huntington. Hey, Fred, what's up?
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call tonight. Two questions about the Steelers. Number one, are you guys surprised how far James Washington has fallen on the depth chart when Ray McLeod seems like he's in front of him now as far as a wide receiver? I thought I'd never see that. And my second question is, I'd like to ask Chris, the safety position right now with Minkah Fitzpatrick and Edmonds, do you expect there could be some changes there next year?
Okay, before you answer that, Chris, thank you. As far as James Washington, I will say this, Chris, I don't know if you agree, but he's got to be still hampered with an injury. The fact that he got 8 snaps, I think, to me is telling, considering how many Ray McLeod got. That should not happen.
Our sports director, Jeff Hathorn, was on today with us on the PM team. He said he's pretty more or less positive that it's injury-related. I was a little bit surprised that Washington made it all the way to full participant on Friday's practice and that he played. But my understanding is that was very much an injury-related thing, because if it's just James Washington in the doghouse, that really would just make no sense whatsoever. Injury is pretty much the shortest distance between 2 points here. As for the safety position, I can't imagine Edmonds being back. I don't know why they would be happy with him. He's just a guy as a first-round pick. And Bob, what Fred brought up there that I think is much more of a pressing issue, when is Minkah Fitzpatrick going to make his imprint on some of these games for the Steelers? He makes a great play on 3rd and 2 in the season opener against Buffalo that ends up setting up a huge play going the other way. I believe, the next play might have been their blocked punt, if my memory serves me correctly. And then what have you heard from him since? I think there's been 1 or 2 other nice tackles that stopped drives. The guy doesn't have an interception. I mean, he is paid and he is touted and he wants to get paid like the best safety in the game, and he's not doing any of the things that the best safety in the game you would expect would do. Now, granted, Jamal Adams says he's the best in the world, and Ben Roethlisberger hit him with a laser beam right off the face mask last night, so I don't know if exactly the safety position is filled with the best and brightest right now, but you get my point.
The only guy who has the hands there,
you're supposed to be the star.
Is Diggs out of Dallas. He's got 7 picks. He returned one yesterday, and I mean, you got to have.
Well, he's unbelievable. He's spectacular, man. I mean, he is absolutely outrageous at the cornerback position. But yeah, where are the Minkah splash plays? I mean, if he's not, I think Ryan Clark has kind of hinted at this before with us. If he's not making big splash plays, if he's not getting his hands on the football, what is he really providing to the Steelers? Right. Let's be honest, because he and Devin Bush were partners in crime making bad tackling attempts last night.
Yeah, they missed a lot of tackles. They weren't the only ones, but a lot of people missed tackles in that game, and that's what had Alex Collins running for almost 100 yards in that third quarter alone. Alex Highsmith and Trey Norwood is a guy who keep an eye on because he's only a 7th rounder, but he looked really good last night, making up some open field tackles on Metcalf, pass coverage, a lot of big plays at big times. Let's go back to the lines, and this will be our number 1 Cochran Go One Better call of the week. We have Bert in Ross Traver. Bert, thank you so much. What's up?
Guys, thanks. Yeah. Before I start, I'd like to say, as far as Washington, he kind of reminds me of Ernie Mills back in the 90s. I hope they can get him on the field when he's healthy, and I think he can help open things up for them. But the reason for my call is the officiating. We all saw the call that when they blew the blocked kick call, and they've missed a lot of face masking penalties. They finally called one this week, but my main concern is what's going on with Najee Harris. I've seen him get slammed to the ground 2 or 3 times at the end of a run play. Either the whistles are too slow, or I don't know if they're getting reputations as trying to flop for calls, but something needs to be done about this. He should not have to take that kind of abuse.
Right. He's taken enough abuse just running the way he runs and playing as much as he plays, and 17 games later, who knows what's going to be, how his season progresses, but they definitely need to feature him. As far as officiating, Chris, I thought it was awful last night from replay official all the way down. How they can determine that catch wasn't a catch or should have been looked at is ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought that was a very strange hill for Mike Tomlin to die on, and I'm sure have to cut a check to the league on, though, and it's for this reason. He's right to say it's absurd that they felt compelled to challenge or to review that to see if Metcalf had caught the ball. Anyone with eyes could see that he had caught the ball. What was odd to me about Tomlin getting so worked up about it was anybody who also had eyes could see that the initial spike attempt after they had first run that play was going to result in 1 second being back on the clock there. I mean, that was Mike Tomlin's contention was that he felt the game should have been over.
Well,
That's
the only
just
thing I'll say
patently
about that
wrong.
is in stadium it did go to 0. So the clock on.
I understand that, but I mean, I understand that, but that was still wrong.
No, I get it, but I think he was looking at that. If he was, then he would have seen 0. So, but the fact is, let's talk about a more ridiculous play, and that's by Metcalf. What are you doing over there? If that had been a Steeler receiver doing that in the same situation, what would we be talking about today? Because if it wasn't for Freddie Swain, they would have not even had a chance to kick the football.
Metcalf is a hugely gifted player. Maybe in his mind he's trying to help his kicker make it even easier. The only way you don't go right out of bounds there is if you think you can kind of fake it and go straight up field and score a game-winning touchdown. Because you know what he robbed them of more than anything else? He goes out of bounds like he should. They can at least take one deep shot.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Geno Smith's got to let it go, and he might have taken a sack. But they can take one deep shot and try to win the game right then and there. So I don't know what he was thinking, and he got extraordinarily lucky that they even forced overtime.
Totally agree. We're going to be back with more. We got to take a break. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call 7 nights a week here on Pittsburgh's CW.